Gratuitous also apparently happens to be my favorite word for the day. But anyway. Welcome to part 2 of our director's vision segment for our film Mann Behka. Let's dive in, let's get cracking right away. The film delves into various aspects of the protagonist's life. Having said that, what is the heart or core of this story? So, essentially, the film is a detailed character study of Manav Aggarwal and how he navigates through various trials and tribulations during the challenging phase of adolescence. The film aims to empower those oppressed in toxic relationships and sheds light on the nature of toxic relationships and also the contradictory behavior pattern of the people involved in such relationships. Think about it, Manav wants out, but at the same time has a very hard time telling Akanksha the truth, right? And I think more than telling the truth, he fears conflict and the thought of being lonely. I think at a very core level, the film is about the human condition, right? It's about moral ambiguity. Manav basically represents the average Joe or the boy next door. He's not the brightest in the room, nor is he a simpleton. He's just a good-natured guy who uses his circumstances as an excuse to justify the person that he is. Some of his qualities are very admirable and some not so much. It's a tale of how someone who doesn't have much going for him responds to the circumstances and environment around him with a certain conscience, and how an unlikely but beautiful bond questions these cognitive distortions and preconceived notions, enabling him to grow over the period of a summer. The pace and tone of the film is very different from the popular films that we see today. What was the reason behind this? The objective was to bring forth the ideas I previously mentioned in a very simple, relatable and authentic manner. My aim was to keep it, like I said, as simple as possible without sounding too preachy or pretentiously profound. I wanted the film to have a certain amount of depth and root it in a realistic context in a highly subtle manner to show how the educated middle class adolescent in our society actually functions. Coming to the film space, my editor and I ensured very carefully that we don't make it too fast-paced like the mainstream cinema of today. We also prevent the film from being too slow-paced like some of the experimental or art house films. Rather treat this film as a slow burn. I wanted the conversations in the film to unfold at a closer to real-time speed in order for the narrative to have a clear arc. And I also wanted the viewer to partake in Manav's journey and experience the feeling of true first love without any, sort of gratuitous exposition. Gratuitous also apparently happens to be my favorite word for the day. But anyway, jokes apart, we shaved nearly 45 minutes off the film to bring it down to its current 77-minute runtime. What was the process behind creating the original songs in the film? We wanted the discography to serve as an indicator of Manav's journey through the course of the film. The lyrics and overall vibe of all three songs was carefully chalked out and fleshed out by my music composers, songwriters and me to reflect Manav's mental and emotional state at each point in time when the songs play. And at the same time, there was a clear plan to ensure that the songs do not become too self-indulgent and cater to the narrative of the film. Did the ongoing conversation about mental health have any impact on the project? So the script was written during the COVID-19 pandemic when, a lot seemed uncertain. Many were fighting an uphill battle and a few fortunate of us made it through. I know of a lot of people who were looking within, trying to navigate through and understand their personal paradigms, right? So although the conversation about mental health did not have a direct impact on the narrative of the film, to be very honest. In the sense, the film wasn't made as a public service announcement, but I think somewhere deep down or subconsciously, the conversation around mental health did indirectly influence some of the aspects within the film's narrative. To conclude, the film doesn't end on a very complete or whole note. What was the thinking behind employing such a strategy? To be honest, I didn't want the ending to be complete or whole, like in a typical happily ever after scenario, you know. The key thought behind the ending was that the characters must live and breathe beyond the time wise confines of the film. Manav had a life before Mann Behka started, and Manav will have a life after the film ends too. Agreed, the ending has a sense of hope and optimism to it. But now, actually, if you think about it, Manav must act on all his contemplations, right? There is still a long road ahead of him, growth wise, and in addition, the person who he truly loves has left. So, although it has altered his life for the better, that chapter has come to a grinding halt, has ended. I would say that things are definitely better. However, all is not hunky dory. Manav has a lot of work cut out for him if he wants to be the best version of himself. So, this concludes part 1 and 2 of our director's vision segment of our film Mann Behka. This is Raghav Pillutla, the producer, writer, and director of Mann Behka, signing off. Please watch the film Mann Behka if you haven't yet, and I appreciate you all. Thank you for taking the time out to watch the film, to watch these 2 segments, and I hope you enjoyed the film. Please take care of yourself. Goodbye.